His name is Jim. He's got a cooking channel. It's a cooking show.
On September 26th, I was asked to be the featured storyteller for a Good Stories from the Community event centered on the joy of cooking in hopes of raising money for the work that's done in the kitchen at the Children's Museum of Phoenix. It's becoming more important than ever before to teach our little and big chefs how to be confident and creative inside and outside of the kitchen.
I am Holly Garner. I'm the Education and Programs Manager at the Children's Museum of Phoenix. At the museum, our mission is to engage the minds, muscles, and imaginations of children and the grown-ups who care about them through playful learning. Each year, we offer hundreds of programs designed to spark curiosity, creativity, and connection, from art and music to science, literacy, and cultural celebrations. One of our most beloved spaces is the Kid-Chin. That's K-I-D, Kid-Chin, where children and families explore hands-on STEAM learning through cooking, science, and sensory play. It's a place where little hands build big skills. Playful experiments spark discovery, and families connect in meaningful ways around food and learning. Programs like this are only possible because of the generosity of people like you. If you feel inspired tonight, I invite you to support the kitchen by making a donation. Every gift directly fuels this work and keeps it accessible for all families. Together we can keep nourishing minds, building memories, and sparking a lifelong love of learning. And now, I want to take a little moment to say something about the museum's storyteller, one of our incredible, as he likes to say, community partners, teaching artists, and everyone's favorite chef, Edible Ed. Through his programs and videos, he brings the love of cooking to life for kids and families. I see it every single week. Inspiring bravery in trying new foods, creativity in the kitchen, and the discovery that food is a powerful way to learn. Please join me in welcoming Edible Ed as he shares his love about the joy and love of cooking. We love you, Ed.
Let me get rid of these tears real quick.
Why are you crying?
Mise en place. It's a fancy French term for everything in its place. Lay out all your ingredients in front of you, take stock of what you got, and then make something. Before I knew what those words meant in the context of the kitchen, I lived them every day, well, almost every day of my life. My dad likes to tell people that I'm the only person he knows that doesn't like to procrastinate. My dad was a police lieutenant for 30 plus years, so that's some pretty high praise if you ask me. Thank you, Dad. As soon as the bell rang, I just always wanted to make sure that I had my work done, because as soon as the work was done, my schoolwork, it was time to go and play ball. I love sports. I love being the best on the field or on the court. I put in the work and the time to show that, and it showed. When I got to culinary school, my chefs saw my potential and they challenged me, and with every challenge they put in front of me, I stepped up to the plate, figuratively and literally, and I excelled. You know the saying, if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen? Well, that was just Thursday for me and my cadre. On top of our military-esque uniform, which consisted of steel-toed, non-slip shoes, houndstooth pants, chef's coats, aprons, neckerchiefs, and skull caps, the chefs would bump the heat up in the kitchen, like turn it up. One by one, all the young cooks would flee the heat of the kitchen. I was always the last one left. You could imagine our shock when we found out what the chefs had been doing, but honestly, I wasn't that surprised because I was prepared. I wanted to do this, and I would do anything I had to in order to have that happen. Everything in its place. One of the chefs was not a cool dude. Like, he went out of his way to not be cool. And one day we had to make chicken consomme the French way, which takes a really, really long time. You have to get some eggs and some veggies, and you have to make a raft. Yes, a raft. I'm not making that up, I promise. Cooking is an adventure, let me tell you. So the eggs and the sliced veggies, they bind together and they attract all the particulates inside of the broth that would make it cloudy. So when your dirty egg veggie raft floated to the top. You would pull it out, strain it, and you'd have crystal clear consommé. But I digress, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. See, I'm giving you kitchen tips. The joy of cooking indeed, right? So in order to give us a grade for our consommé, chef had to taste and check for clarity. So in order to check for clarity, he would drop a quarter into the bowl. Yeah, it sounds real gross. He would taste it first and then he would drop it in. But then he would check for the year that that quarter was made. And if he could see it, then you get a good grade. We were all nervous heading up to chef's desk. Honestly, I wasn't that nervous because my bowl was the only one that was clear in my group. One by one, all the young cooks left chef's desk with a relieved look on their face. It was my turn. I handed chef my bowl. He looked at it. He got his white plastic spoon, he swirled it around. He took a scoop and a sniffy sniff, and then he took a sippy sip. He put the spoon down. He grabbed a dime that was near the quarter that he used for everybody else's bowl, and he put it inside the bowl. He raises it up and he looks at it, puts the bowl down. He starts writing in his ledger. 1991, good job, Ed, but go ahead and refire that dish because the salt was off. Now, if you had to refire your dish, that was bad. So I was so mad because my bowl was clear, it tasted great, but I reluctantly headed back to my station and I refired my dish. I made sure to put copious amount of kosher salt into that consommé. I headed back to the chef's desk, I gave him the bowl. As soon as he put that broth to his lips, he recoiled back. He said, good job, Ed. Thank you, have a good night. See you tomorrow. Everything in its place. One day, we had a surprise knife cut test. And during the test, my back started to hurt a lot. My legs started to go out. Everything was going numb. I got really, really scared. I finished the test the best that I could, and I headed out into the hallway. I hobbled, actually. And I slammed my back against the wall, trying to knock some sense and some feeling into it. One by one, chef called us all back into the room. I was the last one he called back in. In a loud, kind of condescending tone, he says in front of everybody, Ed, you remember the show Sesame Street and the song One of These Things Isn't Like the Other? Well, surprisingly, that's your knife cuts. What's going on? I was furious. My knife cuts were bad because something was physically wrong with me, and here's this guy clowning me over it. It took me right back to high school when one day my back and my legs started hurting and I told my basketball coaches that something was wrong. They laughed at me. They thought I was weak and soft. From that moment on, they made my life a living hell. I would get sick and nauseous every single day going to school, just having to deal with all that torment. I fell out of love with basketball because of them, but I wasn't going to let that happen again. So I put on the saddest face I could muster, and I said, I'm sorry, chef. He was shorter than me, but for dramatic purposes, I'm going to look up. I said, I'm sorry, chef. I don't know what you're talking about. My family was poor, and they came to America with a hope and a dream for my brother and me. His smile faded real quick. Now, time out. Let me explain. My family was poor, but we had a TV, and my favorite channel was PBS. Reading Rainbow, anybody? It's the greatest show ever, right? I had an answer. It was a very sarcastic and loaded one. It wasn't with the whole truth, but I was prepared nonetheless. Shortly after that, my back just continued to get worse, and I was diagnosed with congenital spinal stenosis. I was born with a narrow spinal column, restricting space to my nerves as they taper down my spine. I was in my early 20s, staring surgery square in the jaw. How did I get here? I was supposed to be the next big MLB and NBA star that had a string of successful restaurants that he cooked at on his days off. Not this. Since then, I have survived 6 back surgeries, including 2 fusions, countless procedures, injections, and medications over the last 20 plus years. My last surgery was about over 10 years ago, and after that, my surgeon had told me that I'm gonna need a wheelchair real soon. During all this, I met my college sweetheart, Mickey. We fell in love and we got married. We had our amazing 10-year-old daughter, Emma. From the very beginning, Mickey has always believed and loved me. Thank you, Mickey. But because of my back, I'm unable to cook professionally, but I was able to take care of Emma every day until she started school. Well, scratch that. I took care of her most of the times because she took care of me, I think, a lot more. Everything I did hurt. Spoiler alert, everything I do still hurts a lot. I knew what was inevitable, right? What the surgeon had told me, that a wheelchair was in my near future, and all I could hear was him telling me that over and over again. The titanium rods and screws that are holding my spine up are eventually going to fail. And it was hard. I got severely depressed. I gained a lot of weight. I gave in to that fear. I didn't want Emma to know me as convalescent. I wanted to give her time with her daddy the best that I could. So I decided to get up and get moving. Everything in its place. Crunch, crunch, crunch. One day, I was trying to think of what to make for dinner with some chicken breasts that I had laying around. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I wanted to make something new and different and exciting. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Emma was about 2 years old. She was in the living room and she was eating some Doritos and she was watching Daniel Tiger. Oh, R.I.P. PBS. I got it. I'm gonna make Doritos fried chicken. So I crushed up those cheesy triangles and I threw in some shredded cheese and I sprinkled in some of Edible Ed's magic dust. I coated those chicken breasts and I fried them in some rendered bacon. And I made culinary history. That dish, the Doritos fried chicken sandy, is the very first episode of my award-winning cooking show, Edible Ed's. Thank you. Thank you. So every time I decided I was going to start cooking, I would grab Emma, put her in her high chair, take her high chair into the kitchen, and she would watch me cook. It was very reminiscent of the time I spent with my mom when I was a kid. My mom was my first chef, and I still learn a lot from her every single day. Thank you, Mom. After we finished cooking, Emma would run to her play kitchen, and she would mimic all the moves she just saw me make. It was the cutest thing ever. Sometimes she would miss a step or forget an ingredient, but she would quickly catch herself, and she would correct herself, and she would keep moving forward. I've always been in awe of Emma, of her resiliency and just her tenacity. And quick side story. Most kids, when they fall further and they make a bigger deal of it, right? Emma, when she would fall and say, ouch. She would jump up and literally dust herself off and keep moving forward. How could I not want to jump up, dust myself off, and keep moving forward just like her? Emma has always been my motivation and my inspiration. Thank you, Emma. Everything in its place. I always prided myself on having a plan and several contingency plans that follow that. But because of my back, I can't cook professionally. But I can still cook. So I decided to create my YouTube cooking show. On my show, I blend all of the experiences that I've endured over my whole life into my recipes. Like me, my food is a melting pot of textures and flavors. I also do like to subtly drop in life lessons masquerading as cooking techniques. I like to sprinkle them all over the episodes. It's a lot of fun. Being able to step out of the internet and into the kitchen with my little and big chefs at the Children's Museum is beyond a blessing. Thank you, CMOP. Being able to be there with them gives me the energy to keep moving forward. I think back through my life, and I think back through all the main events that I've endured, and I realize that food has played a pivotal role in pretty much all of them. Food is healing, food is powerful. The kitchen's the heart of the home. It's where we gather for nourishment of the body, but also of the soul. Do you guys want me to tell you the secret ingredient to super delicious cooking? Yeah? You ready? You gotta cook with love. That's the secret ingredient. That's it. You cook with love, your food will always be super delicious, I promise you. We're all full of gifts. We're all full of limitless potential. It's exactly like measing out a dish. Lay out all your ingredients in front of you, take stock of what you got, then make something. You got this, chef. I believe in you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Ed, for your story. You write everything in its place, and you are in the right place, telling this wonderful story and sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.